أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا وعظيمنا وحبيب قلوبنا أبو القاسم مصطفى محمد اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين. Brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Today we'll be talking about the brief biography of Zayd ibn al-Hassan al-Mujtaba alayhi salam, the son of Imam Ali alayhi salam. But before we start this series on the famous, important personalities of the Alids, the Sadat, it's important that I make a disclaimer. And this is so that you are guided with this disclaimer throughout the series, so we are on the same page, you and I. The first point is, we of course understand the impact of history upon our lives and upon the future. You've heard the saying that history repeats itself, and thus it's important to learn from history, apply lessons to your present and your future. The whole concept of learning from history is encouraged by the Holy Quran, with its stories and the qasas and all of the wise examples they've given of those who did good and those who did bad, so that people can do tafakkur, tadabbur, and reflect on past examples. And this is something I intend to do to the best of my ability, inshallah, to mention the biographies of notable figures of this holy family, the household of Nabuwah, where Nabuwah graced, the household that Nabuwah graced, so that we can either learn about what happened in history or take lessons and examples and morals. Secondly, I will be mentioning the sources of Tasannun and Tashayyu', so Shia and Sunni sources, in order to present a more balanced view which will promote inclusivity. And from that, you will be able to see, okay, there is a unity in opinion on this particular figure that's being discussed, or there's a matter of ikhtilaf. In any case, especially if there's an ikhtilaf, I want to mention that because of the political circumstances, religious affiliations, the topics may get indirectly, unintentionally sensitive. But that's not my intention behind mentioning both opinions. My opinion is to present, as I mentioned, a balanced view, a more inclusive view, to ensure that you could either see the agreements between the fariqain, the two schools, historically on a certain figure, or you can see that, this is a matter of ikhtilaf, and the purpose of me presenting it this way is purely academic. I do not intend, nor do I want, nor will I tolerate any sectarian language, or, if there's a particular opinion of one of the sects on a certain figure. Why do they believe this? How dare they believe this? They have no right to hold this opinion. No, this is not going to happen. The whole purpose behind this is to present a nuanced and fair view to promote inclusivity. And because this is a sensitive topic, I thought I should add this as well into the disclaimer. Thirdly, for the Shi'i viewers, the Shi'i opinion on the 12 Imams is that they are infallible. However, speaking about the other figures who, particularly for the Shia, are not part of the infallible line of Imams, and this, of course, applies to Ahl Sunnah as well, because the Ahl Sunnah are not of the opinion of any infallibility after Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi. These personalities were not infallible. And these personalities presented different stances and different ways of challenging the status quo, or any political challenges, or any fitna which was occurring during their time. The stances may be ones which one may be appreciative of, and there may be some stances which you may not like, or which was not advisable, or which was not the standard which is expected of the progeny of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alayhi. And I just wanted to say that I'm talking about a topic, and I want to let you know in advance that it won't be sugar and honey. It won't be a bed of roses. It's not going to be a walk in the park. So what I will be mentioning is what is narrated about them, and I will leave the rest to you to do your own research if you're interested in that, or just take in the information as it's been presented by the books of Seerah and the books of history. So with this out of the way, let's begin our discussion on Zayd ibn al-Hassan al-Mujtaba bin Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam. His kunya was either Abu al-Hassan or Abu al-Hussein. What makes him notable is that he is the earliest Sayyid who could say, from the descendants of Imam Hassan and Hussein alayhum as-salam. He is of the earliest of them, although no historian has mentioned his precise year of birth. We do know he was born in the 1st century after Hijrah. In order to indirectly ascertain the years in which he was born, what we could use is the fact that we know that he died between the ages of 90 and 100 in the year 120 after Hijrah. This leads us to understand that he was born between 20 or 30, if we put our mathematical caps on, after Hijrah, and this birth happens in Medina. He was the son of Imam al-Hassan alayhi salam, the son of Imam Ali alayhi salam, as mentioned before, and his mother was Bashir Fatima bint Abi Mas'ud Uqba bin Amr bin Tha'laba bin Usayra bin Atiyya bin Jadara bin Auf ibn al-Harith bin al-Khazraj. And this Khazraj, as you've probably guessed by now, is one of the ancestors of the Ansar, one of the main 2 branches of Ansar, the Khazraji branch of the Ansar. So from his father's side, he was Hassani, Alawi, Talibi, Hashimi, and his mother was Khazraji, Ansari. According to most sources, he was the elder brother of Imam al-Hassan, son. So Imam al-Hassan's son, al-Hassan al-Muthanna. He was brought up in the household graced by Nabuwah, and we know about him that he was of a gentle nature. It's known about him that he was of a large size and stature, and this used to surprise many people who used to meet him. It is mentioned by Ibn Aynaba in his Umdat al-Talib and other sources that he did not participate, in Karbala, and did not accompany his uncle Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam to Karbala. However, in contrast to these accounts, Abu al-Faraj al-Isfahani and Sayyid ibn Tawus in their respective books, Maqatil al-Talibiyin and al-Luhuf, both mention that he survived Karbala. In the case of Sayyid ibn Tawus, he mentioned that when al-Hassan al-Muthanna was taken, when he was taken away from the battle with injuries by the cousin of his mother, Asma bin Kharija, that Zayd ibn al-Hassan was with him and taken with him. It's worth noting that even though genealogists like Ibn Aynaba, who died in 828, studied Tariq and history, their expertise was in genealogy Therefore, even though they did study history, it's important to note that when looking at historical sources, this is something which is important. History mentions that he married the widow of Abu al-Fadl al-Abbas after his martyrdom in Karbala. So we're saying, so that would be Lubaba bint Ubaydullah ibn Abbas. And as far as his historical role, something else he was notable for, is concerned, he was known for being in charge of the sadaqat, the charity of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi. And he was famous for this. But the Umayyad Caliph Sulaiman ibn Abd al-Malik al-Umawi wrote to his agent in Medina and had him removed from this position, but was later reinstated by the Umayyad Caliph Umar ibn Abd al-Aziz. The view of the Ahl Sunnah regarding Zayd is that he was a pious descendant of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi, and one of the elders of Banu Hashim. Ibn Hibban mentions him in his Al-Thiqat, and this indicates his praise. Ibn Hibban says, Zayd ibn al-Hassan ibn Ali al-Hashimi yarwi an ibn Abbas روى عنه ابنه حسن بن زيد مات ببطحاء على 6 أميال من المدينة. That Zayd, the son of Imam al-Hassan alayhi salam, narrated from Ibn Abbas, and his son Hassan ibn Zayd narrated from him, and he passed away in Batha, which is 6 miles from Medina. From a Shi'i perspective, Shaykh al-Mufid says about him in his Al-Irshad, فأما زيد بن الحسن رضي الله عنه فكان على صدقات رسول الله وأسن، وكان جليل القدر كريم الطبع ذلف النفس ثير البر، ومدحه الشعراء وقصده الناس من الآفاق لطلب فضله. As for Zayd ibn al-Hassan, may Allah be pleased with him, you could see that he's doing taraddi on him. As for Zayd ibn al-Hassan, he was responsible for the charities of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alayhi, and was of a noble character. He was a person of great stature, generous by nature and caring for others. Poets praised him, and people came from distant lands seeking his favor. He goes on to say about Zayd, زيد بن الحسن رحمة الله عليه كان مسالما لبني أمية ومتقلدا من قبلهم الأعمال، وكان رعيه التقية لأعدائه والتألف لهم والمدارا. That Zayd ibn al-Hassan, may Allah's mercy be upon him, so he's doing tarahum here as well, was peaceful with the Umayyads and held positions of responsibility on their behalf. His opinion was of taqiyya with his enemies, to seek their goodwill and to engage in diplomacy. So up to this point, the view of the two fariqain, that the fariqain is shared. However, within the Shi'i perspective, there are some who have questioned the personality of this Zayd, saying that he disputed with Imam al-Baqir alayhi salam, the son of Imam Zayn al-Abidin alayhi salam, the son of Imam Hussein alayhi salam, over the sadaqat of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alayhi, saying that he was more entitled to it. And these accusations have gone to the level of, accusing Imam al-Baqir alayhi salam of witchcraft, and ultimately tried to play a part in his poisoning. Also, he is shown as insulting Zayd ibn Ali al-Shahid alayhi salam's mother, calling him Yabn al-Sindiyya as an insult. This is based upon a long hadith, and this has been narrated in Al-Khara'ij wal-Jara'ih of Qutbuddin al-Rawandi, and it's mentioned by Ibn Hamza al-Tusi in a mursal fashion, and by al-Majlisi in his Bihar al-Anwar, which is a quotation from Qutbuddin al-Rawandi, which itself is a mursal tradition. Let's put aside the historical inconsistency in this narration, Abd al-Malik ibn Marwan when he was alive, when he died, and how that correlates with the two figures we're speaking about here. The narration, as I mentioned, itself is mursal. It only says that Abu Basir narrates from Imam Sadiq alayhi salam. One thing which I need to mention is when bringing an accusation against somebody, and those two being serious charges, you need serious evidence. You cannot accuse a personality of such crimes based off mursal traditions. And in this case, it would pass off as hearsay because we have no way to verify a chain that doesn't exist. Al-Mamaqani and Al-Khu'i in their Rijali works point out this evidence fact. When it comes to accusing anybody, solid evidence is needed, let alone the son of Hassan al-Mujtaba alayhi salam. In genealogical terms, he continued from his son al-Hassan, Abu Muhammad, and genealogists have limited the emergence of his progeny as being only from his son al-Hassan al-Amir. Other children that he had includes Muhammad, who was martyred in Karbala, Abu al-Hussein Yahya, and al-Hussein. So he paid allegiance to Abdullah ibn Zubayr after the martyrdom of Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam, his uncle. So on this historical perspective, the Shia do not and did not in that time hold the Zubayrids or the Zubayris in high regards, as they were seen as the opponents of the Alids. Some have moved to criticize this action of allegiance, while others have attributed a strategic nature to this allegiance and have said that the allegiance could be compared to that of Ibrahim ibn Malik al-Ashtar to Mus'ab ibn Zubayr. This Zayd ibn al-Hassan alayhi salam passed away in the year 120 after Hijrah, as we mentioned, at a place between Mecca and Medina. I would like to thank you for the investment of your time, and we hope to move to another personality. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.